music just helped me blossom into. And I started singing in front of people for the very first time in high school.
Mhm.
I wanted to do something that involved music. I also knew that I wanted to do some kind of helping profession. I like to say we are all musical beings, we're all rhythmic beings, we all have a heartbeat. Most people know music is therapeutic. So there's music as therapy. And that's
Yes.
just kind of the general idea that music is therapeutic. But then
Mm-hmm.
music therapy is the formalized field
Yes.
of
Mm-hmm.
applying, of using music as a therapeutic tool to
Yes.
affect change in some way. My experience with people with dementia in general is getting to see them come alive again.
Welcome back to our show, Empower Your Life with Cindy Marie. I'm super excited to introduce you with our next guest. She is a board certified music therapist, a certified dementia practitioner, and the founder of Bridgetown Music Therapy. Her mission is to spark joy and connection through a meaningful music engagement, and she's especially passionate about using music and making a difference in the lives of older adults, particularly with dementia. And so today, in today's episode, you can expect inspiring conversations, something with music, how music can helps us express our true selves and connect to a different, deeper level, and more. So let's all welcome our next guest, Alexis Baker. Alexis, welcome to our show.
Hello, Cindy Marie. It's so good to be with you today.
Yes, I'm super excited. So let's dive in, shall we?
Sounds great.
Okay. So, Alexis, we have this tradition on our show whereby we always love to hear our guests' humble beginnings, unique stories, and unique journeys. So, on your case, how you end up being music therapist and what inspired you to really share your gifts and talents specifically with dementia and led you to have this Bridgetown Music Therapy. Share with us your story, please.
Well, what a great question to start off with. I'm the daughter of a school teacher
Mm-hmm.
and a homemaker. I have two very loving parents, and they always encouraged my siblings and I to pursue learning a musical instrument.
Mm,
Um, and music was always a part of our family in some way. So as a young
mhm.
child, I remember singing songs with my parents at bedtime, and then as an 8-year-old, starting piano lessons. And
Wow.
that was my first formal training as a musician. And I I absolutely hated my piano teacher at that age. I thought she was very mean, and so
Okay.
I begged my mom to switch teachers and switch instruments altogether. And
Mhm.
so I discovered guitar at the age of 10. I got a new teacher and
Mhm.
began learning guitar, fell in love with it, and I've been playing
Mhm.
ever since.
No.
At the same time, I was also a very shy kid, and
Yes.
I just kind of stayed in my shell. Like I was always fearful to talk to people, and I would be afraid to like answer the phone, things like that. But in high school, I started breaking out of my shell a little bit, and music really helped me with that. So I
Mm.
discovered my voice in high school and started singing. I was in a choir. I began taking voice lessons,
Nice.
and I really discovered a confidence in myself
Mm.
that music just helped me blossom into. Um, and I started singing in front of people for the very first time in high school.
Mhm.
Um, and so there's many pieces to this story.
Yeah.
Um, with with all the musical, growing up in a musical family, music background, all of that, I knew I wanted to do something that involved music, but I didn't want to
Mhm.
go the traditional routes
Tradition.
of music education, teaching music, or music performance.
Mhm.
I also knew that I wanted to do some kind of helping profession. I've always known I'm a helper at heart, so I thought about maybe nursing or counseling and psychology, something along those lines. But I still wanted to do something that involved music. So I think it was around the time I was 16, I heard about music
Wow.
therapy for the
Wow.
first time, and it just immediately grabbed my attention.
Mhm.
And it clicked with me. Like I almost instantly knew like that was what I was going to pursue. So I started looking into it and learning about the path to become a music therapist.
Mhm.
And yeah, started taking early college classes while I was still in high school towards that degree. Um,
Wow.
and then my grandmother had Alzheimer's disease. She was
I see.
diagnosed when I was a young kid, and
Mm.
she passed away when I was 16. And she was my first exposure to dementia. And
Mhm.
it just made a really big impact on me at that age. And I
Yeah.
saw how she loved music and how music affected her. So
Mm.
even though it took me a while to realize all of these pieces, um,
Yeah.
they all came together, and that's how I became a music therapist. That's how I chose to specialize in serving people living with dementia, and yeah, it's been a great journey so far.
Yeah, I mean, I always say this to people who discovered what they want to do at the young age, like very jealous, very envious, because where I came from, anything that something related to creativity, at least the background where I came from, it wasn't welcome. I'm so envious and jealous to hear that you started to learn how to do the piano and the guitar at a young age. But I told myself that I have my own gifts and talents, and that music is also part of my DNA and part of my story. And
Yeah.
so, also knowing the music therapy, it kind of really intrigued me, and so I am so, so grateful that I had the chance to get to know you. And then I was like, okay, well, let's bring it on the show, because I think many people still not having a better understanding about music therapy, right? So this is where leading to the next question about music therapy. Alexis, what is really music therapy? And I think it's very important that you help us understand that, because I think many people might not know that they might need or they can benefit from it, and help us also break down like what's the difference between other or from other tools for emotional and mental well-being. Is it really entirely music related, or is there something more about it? Break it down and help us understand, Alexis.
Yes, of course. And that is a question I get all the time is what exactly is music therapy? There is still a general lack of understanding around it, but
Mhm.
I think most people intuitively know that music is therapeutic because
Yes.
everyone relates to music in some way or another, and we've all each had our very own personal experiences and almost a personal relationship with music throughout
Mm-hmm.
our lives, whether we acknowledge it or not. Music is everywhere in the world around us. Um, I like to say we are all musical beings. We're all rhythmic beings. We all have a heartbeat. That's a
Yeah.
rhythm. We all have breathing. That's
Yeah.
a rhythm. So rhythm is in our bodies. So most people know music is therapeutic, but
Mm-hmm.
music therapy. So there's music as therapy. And that's
Yes.
just kind of the general idea that music is therapeutic. But then
Mm-hmm.
music therapy is the formalized field
Yes. Mm-hmm.
of applying, of using music as a therapeutic tool
Yes.
to affect change in some way. And
Mm-hmm.
it is similar to physical therapy, art therapy,
Mm.
occupational therapy, all those other therapies where it's it's very systematic in how it's applied. So, music therapists are trained to do assessments, treatment plans where we create actual specific goals and objectives that will
Yeah.
work on
Mm-hmm.
the therapeutic setting, documentation, evaluation, all of that
Yeah.
formalized approach. But from the outside, music therapy can look like a lot of fun. It can look like entertainment sometimes, but music therapists use music in a lot of different ways. So it can,
Okay.
and it can, so in a lot of ways, it doesn't fit in one box
Yes.
because of the variety and the breadth of use. For example, it can be used with any age and
Mm-hmm.
population of people. So all the way from women who are pregnant to the preemie babies um,
Mm-hmm.
in the hospital, all the way through end of life care with
Mm-hmm.
hospice. So literally the whole spectrum of ages and many different populations, um, mental health,
Yeah.
special education.
Yeah.
There's even music therapists who work in prisons, which I could never do, but yeah, just all types of settings and populations. And then looking at the activities,
Mm.
we call them interventions or therapeutic music experiences. It could be
Mm-hmm.
singing, it could be playing an instrument, moving to music, songwriting, um, lyric analysis, music assisted relaxation, all kinds of
Mm.
different activities. It's a very creative
Yeah.
therapeutic approach.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I think I think it's very important that we discuss that because the main information coming from different people and I ask people, so what do you understand about music therapy? Oh, what is it? I don't even know that there's such a thing. And I think the more that we understand that there's a need, there's a demand, the more that we also expand what are those we can incorporate with music, right? And yes, we all know that music is a therapeutical tool, but I think many people still not very much aware in terms of there's a systematic way, there's an assessment, there's a deeper way to do it, that there's actually expertise or profession behind this therapy. And so I think for many it's great to know that it's not just simply incorporating creativity with it, but there's also assessment, there's also evaluation. As what you said, there's also goals for you to tick whether you are achieving or progressing. And I'm super curious because the first hand that you have thought about to share your gifts and talents with group of people with dementia, would you remember how does it exactly feel for you to share that? The first maybe people, the group of people, and how did they respond to it? Could you share with us your first experience if you haven't before in the entire interviews that you had?
My very first experience, or just
Yes, can you remember?
I don't know if I can remember that
Okay.
far back, but in my early years, so I will mention, like you were saying, it's not just random, it's a very intentional process.
Yes.
Becoming a music therapist is a bachelor's degree plus 1,200 clinical training hours. And then
Yeah.
after you complete all that, it's taking a board certification exam to show you're competent and to become certified. So all that to say, it's not random, it's very
Yeah.
intentional. But in my early days, like when I was an intern and a very new professional, I had a notebook that I would keep track of things clients would say or do that just like made my heart soar. Like, made me feel so appreciative of the work I got to
Mm.
do, I get to do. And I think in general, like, my experience with people with dementia in general is getting to see them come alive again, because
Mm.
a lot of times they just lose so many skills and abilities. They disengage with the world around them. They
Yeah.
retreat inward, and their world
Mm.
just grows smaller and smaller. But if you can sing a familiar song to them or hand them an instrument, um, that is a very sensory experience. If you can
Mm.
engage their senses, um, using the familiar, using music that resonates with them, it draws them out and it brings life back to their eyes. Like, I just love getting to see their faces light up.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Yeah. It when you're sharing about that experience, it reminded me of this short clip. I don't know if you have watched it, but I'm not sure whether it's a dementia or Alzheimer. But I guess it's the grandpa and the granddaughter. So they're singers, and the
Mm.
granddaughter started to sing, and because they don't, I mean, he doesn't remember who this person next to him, so she started to sing, and then eventually, he started to remember everything.
Mm.
And I think that's the beauty of music. It can reconnect our blocked veins sometimes for some reason, because it's I can't really pick the right word. It's a soul connector, if I can say it.
Yeah.
That it's we delve into beyond where we at, but we connect deeply through that music. Then we get to know one another again. And I don't know if you watched that video, but that is just the video or the music that came to mind as a great example as how we can reconnect with those people very close to us, and remember us in case of they're started to forgetting things, and can have the emotional imbalance when they get frustrated, and music really can calm us, right?
It can, yes. And I've probably seen that clip. I know there's a lot of clips
Songs.
like that floating around. And I'm glad people are capturing moments like that to really
Mhm.
show the impact of music. There's two words I like to use quite often in regard to music and music
Mhm.
therapy, and it's joy and connection. So I love bringing joy to people through music, and then connection. It can be connecting with them, like myself connecting with them, or facilitating connections between a loved one and a
Yeah.
family member, two family members, or just reconnecting with the world around them.
Yeah, yeah. And not some time ago, but the last time that we spoke, I remember you also shared with me the ups and downs of building this music therapy in your career and in this business. And so I'm super curious, what have been some of your biggest challenges that come along with bringing awareness about the music therapy, that also through these challenging moments, what lessons have you learned? Could you share with us? Because I think not only for people in the place of the same journey as you, but also understanding why it's important. So, could you share with us those challenges and the
Sure,
lessons that you learned?
sure. So, yes, I've been a music therapist for 12 years now,
Wow.
and it hasn't always been an easy journey. It isn't necessarily easy right now. Um, I hate to say it, but music therapists can often get lumped into the category of struggling artists, struggling musicians. Um,
Wow.
we're often undervalued and
Mm.
kind of overlooked oftentimes. So a lot of my career has been spent educating and advocating for
Yes.
music therapy, and really trying to charge what I feel I'm worth for
Yes.
providing
Yes.
very valuable services.
Mm-hmm.
Just a quick timeline. My first 3 years as a professional, I was working for another music therapy agency. I completed my internship with them, and then they hired me on super part-time. I always thought I would just work for somebody else. I
Yeah.
never really had ambition to become an entrepreneur or
Mm-hmm.
self-employed, starting my own business.
Mm-hmm.
I had an opportunity to work with them. They I started super part-time and they promised that it would build to full-time.
Okay.
In the meantime, I needed to supplement my income, so I took on a nannying job and
Mm-hmm.
I was nannying and doing music therapy. I was also doing a lot of other things at that time. I had
Mm-hmm.
an Etsy shop. I was teaching lessons. So it was just like a patchwork trying to bring everything together to provide for myself.
Yes.
And then I got married in 2016, and my husband is very entrepreneurial. So he was the one who really encouraged me to go off on my own and start my own
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, start my own company. So late
Yes.
2016, I launched Bridgetown Music Therapy. At that point, I decided I wanted to specialize in the older adult population,
Yes.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
because I had been working with a wide variety of populations and I just felt so spread all over the place. So I really wanted to specialize. So Bridgetown Music Therapy became all about serving older adults, and I got really interested in serving specifically in dementia care.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So I've always been a traveling music therapist where I
Mm-hmm.
drive around to all of my clients.
Mm-hmm.
So I continued doing that and built up my business to where I was contracting with a couple dozen care communities in the Portland area, um, and and my business was doing great. Beginning of 2020, I was on track to double. Like my numbers were already showing like I could double that year.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as we all know, COVID hit in
Yes.
2020,
Yes.
and my business was down to nothing in a matter of a week or two because all my clients canceled. Like, understandably, they couldn't have people from the outside coming in. So
Yes. Yeah.
I was just like at a loss. Like, what do I do now? So really, in response to COVID, and during that time, I was forced to come up with an alternative to
Yeah.
providing service as a music therapist. So, once
Mm-hmm.
again, with my husband, he is a professional videographer. It was
Mm-hmm.
his idea. He's like, why don't we put our skills together and
Yeah.
I'll just start filming you?
Yes.
And
Yes.
we had no idea what we were doing, but we launched our program with just 4 videos in late 2020, and we initially launched to my previous clients, and many of them signed up and started using it, um,
Mm-hmm.
and started giving us positive feedback. So, because we really just did it as like a test, like let's see
Yeah.
what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So we kept going. We kept creating content. We created a new 50-minute video session. We call it a therapeutic music session every week, and we pushed out a new video. We did that for a year, and then I um, continued creating more content after that, and just really fine tuning our offer and
Mm-hmm.
um, fine tuning the marketing and all that. And so now, about 4 years later, just to try to keep it short, um, 4 years later, we have a, a video library of over 350 therapeutic
Wow.
music sessions. And we are still pretty small, but we're growing. And it's just, I just really pivoted in my business and took a totally new direction online. And now I've spent the last few years learning how to do business in the online space. Whereas
Yeah.
before, I was learning how to do it in person in a
Mhm.
specific geographic location.
First, what I'm hearing, first of all, thank you for sharing all of that. That takes a lot of bravery and courage from, from the beginning all the way to where you are right now. And first thing that really struck me would be underestimating and undervaluing our gifts and talents. And you're not alone. I think there's still something within us as women that we undervalue. We have to constantly doing more experiences before we are confident that we've got this. And most of the cases, men are the one who are very confident. And in this case, it's a very great combination that you and your husband have, because he pushed you and he also reminding you to believe in yourself that you've got this. And because without that, I don't think you will see yourself to where you are right now. And I think in every path that we're taking, it's all about pivoting. If things didn't happen, let's try again, for as long as we don't give up. And I think that's what I'm hearing from what you're sharing. And I love now that we are coming back to normal. At least now you can provide two places or two platforms. One, for many people might be comfortable of doing online, or maybe they don't have the time to do it in person. Here you are, you have the service that they can offer on their convenience. And you never know that what could be the expansion of the services that you can offer. And I love that you constantly evaluating as what you do also with the
Yes.
work that you do. So because through that you can understand the real score, if we can say that, where you are in terms of your, what I'm also sensing is that you are very passionate to share your gifts, and you are more determined to do whatever it takes in the right ways to share that. And I love sharing your authenticity and your voice, because people will value whatever you're sharing through your authenticity. What's your voice that you're sharing? And the community that really resonate with your energy or with your services, they'll come to you. And we are in the matter of keep on adjusting, just like cooking. We make different ingredients, we experiment different formula until we come up with a mastery of our business. And now, of course, we keep on talking about the logical side of music therapy. And I know from the bottom of my heart that music is a big part of our lives. I mean, it's my DNA. I sing with music, I dance with music. Music is like makes the people come together. Yeah. And but many have yet to realize that how powerful it can be, that we underestimate, we kind of like ignore or kind of just put it aside, just how can I say, just like an extra tool. But it's actually a powerful tool where we can use it on a daily basis to boost our confidence, to boost our encouragement, motivation, especially reconnecting with our true selves. That's something that I've been a big advocate for music in any aspect, and it's fun if we will use it in the right way. So, Alexis, would you be willing to share with us one of many techniques or tools that you share or you use with your clients? Because I would really love to experience it myself, so that we can share, we can demonstrate, we can show to people how powerful and beneficial music therapy. So are you up for it?
Absolutely.
All
Yes. I'm
right, let's
very
begin.
excited.
Let me know, what should I do? I mean, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I will tell you one thing with Zoom, it can be a little tricky with music. Um, so, one thing I always check is that the musician's mode is on with Zoom. I don't know if
Hmm.
you knew about that setting, but
Yes, yes.
mode. So, I'm going to pull up some song lyrics here. Well, let's start off um, kind of like I would a typical session, just kind of checking
Yes.
client. So, Cindy Marie, how are you doing today?
Well, it's kind of gloomy, but I am doing my best to feel uplifted. So, yeah, that's the kind of day I have.
Hmm. Yeah, it can be challenging sometimes in life to always feel positive, but one thing that usually helps me is a little bit of music. So I was thinking of a
Mhm.
song today,
Okay.
and it's called What a Wonderful World. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it.
Yes,
Are
I'm
you okay?
familiar.
It's a song from the 60s, and it was popularly sung by Louis Armstrong.
hmm
So I've got the words on the screen, and I'm just gonna play through it and sing through it. And as I'm doing that, I would love for you to just really look at the lyrics
Okay.
and think about what the lyrics mean to you,
hmm
if anything specific stands out, um, and really pay attention to how they make you feel.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And feel free to sing with me if you'd like, or just sway to the music. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day and the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful
Yeah.
world.
So love it. Thank you. This is one of the reasons why, oh, it's so nice to hear people who can play guitar because you
Oh,
can just, you can adjust accordingly, right? And thank you. I really, really love it. And obviously, coming from both who sing very soothing and I just love it and it really uplifts me and also well you know it just reminded me when I'm looking at the lyrics. I'm very obedient student, as you can see. i was I was just looking
yeah.
at the lyrics and feeling it. It's usually the experience, and I think what I'm getting after the experience would be, we're living in a very destructive and busy world whereby beautiful trees, the colors, the roses, the flowers, the birds, the voices of the people chatting, all of that, we tend to neglect how beautiful world it is depending on our lenses. And I think what happened here, basically you reminded us that it's a matter of us choosing what's important, and that we can always be happy and joyful and connected
Yes.
with ourselves and also the people around us when we choose to be there. And so I thank you. I really love it. And I'm very grateful that we did this because, again, never underestimate the true value of music therapy because there are people who really need it. And so thank you for this opportunity. I love it.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for listening and sharing your thoughts on it. And yeah, this is one of those songs that can really help reset our
Mm,
mind and remind us that no matter what's going on, there's always beauty around us. And it's just a
yes.
matter of noticing it. And you're right, it is a choice. And we can feel so empowered in that,
Yes.
that it's our choice
Mm-hmm.
what we choose to notice, whether we choose to notice the beauty around us or not. And
Yeah.
we so often forget the simple things.
Yes.
Noticing beauty around us is one of those
Mm,
simple things. And or something as simple as a song. Just
yes.
taking a moment to sing through or listen to a song can just do so much for us.
Yes. Yes. I feel so warm, after our session. So, can you imagine? For I mean, I'm sure that when you're doing this session to your clients or the people that you're helping with, they felt more, if I can say that, because I one of the things that I notice here in United States, being new here and still adjusting with the culture, that when you give them the space and the time, that we can have a deeper conversation as well, that I feel it's becoming so unusual, not only here but in majority. It's the simple conversation that you give when you are being genuine, and I can feel that when you are doing this, the singing and the playing the guitar and the lyrics, just it's a harmony, you know. uh, I just love it. And speaking of uplifting, and I want to keep the momentum. So we are going to talk about the optimism. And I can sense that you're also very optimistic, I'm guessing. But I'm very, very optimist person. And I know different people would have different interpretation, different understanding, could interpret it as a negative or a positive. But for me, it's more into positivity, helping me to keep moving forward and also supporting in the journey. I mean, in entrepreneur and really empowering people and also showcasing your authentic self, which it's not an easy journey, but totally worth it. And I'm super, super curious. You have shared many, many powerful benefits of the tools that you're using for music therapy. And I'm super curious, like recently, perhaps you have experienced some challenging moments. And could you share with us what are the one or two tools that you use that could be also beneficial for many that might experience the same thing? And it has been helpful for you for this particular tools to keep you optimistic and moving forward. And what would that be?
Hmm. Great questions. It's funny that you say I come across as optimistic because I don't think I naturally am.
Okay,
think I
there you
have
go.
I think I have more of a realistic view of the world. So, but optimism is a choice. So,
Yes.
for me, it's a little bit of a harder choice because my natural bent is towards having a realistic view,
Mm-hmm.
where I see both the positive and the negative, and I'm
Yes.
weighing them. So I have a very realist view, um, which has its benefits as well. But yes, I do strive to choose optimism because I truly think there is no better way. Um, so, yes, that for one. Surrounding yourself with people who are similarly driven, who are encouraging and uplifting.
Mm-hmm.
That's also a choice who we choose to spend time with.
Yes.
Um, and I have some really great people in my court cheering me
Mm-hmm.
on, and that has done so much for me as well. Gratitude is a
Mm-hmm.
huge tool. Again, just noticing the little things,
Mm.
noticing what you truly have to be grateful for, even if things are tough and
Mm.
challenging. The industry I'm in is very, very tough, and I'm constantly having to advocate and just market sell myself so much, like just push 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 constantly, and it
Mm-hmm.
gets tiring, and I know what I have to offer is a value. One thing that this isn't so much a tool, but one thing that really keeps me going is my passion for
Mm.
what I do. I tell people my passion is my fuel, and I think
Yes.
if you're doing something that you're not quite passionate about,
Mm.
it's easy. It's a lot easier to burn out,
Yeah.
and it just might feel like you're forcing it too much. Whereas when you're passionate about something and you know it, like deep down, you know you're doing what you're passionate about, then it does become easier. And
Mm.
the hurdles are still there, the challenges are still there, but
Yeah.
you have this deep resolve and resilience and just grit
Mm.
to keep going and like just keep pushing. So yeah, there's a couple things that I can
Mm-hmm.
think of.
Which are very, very important. You cover the choosing to be optimistic and, practicing gratitude, which I feel and I believe this has been also part of my practices. And the most important is that, having the passion. And I know in business perspective, there are mixture of, they're saying that passion is just not one thing for business, but I do personally believe this is your fuel. You have to enjoy what you do when you're entering an entrepreneurial world, especially if you've been, for me, I have been in corporate, so being in a stable job with stable income, it's easier than jumping into entrepreneur that it's seasonal, right?
Yes.
And I think it's very important. You've mentioned multiple times, and I'm a big advocate of that. Simplicity, simple things. And in our world where it's all about materialists or material things, collecting accolades, and all of that, we tend to forget what are those really, really important in our lives. So, gratitude is very, very important. And so, thank you so much for sharing all of these incredible conversations that we had. But, Alexis, this just came out, and I mean, just came into mind this question.
Sure.
If you can see your future self, if you can imagine your future self, what would be the message that you can share with yourself right now to encourage you more?
That's funny you would ask that because just yesterday I was just thinking about what my business might be like 25 years down the road. Just
Mm-hmm.
kind of visualizing like what I hope it to be. Um and really like it sounds so simple and like everyone says it, but don't give up for sure comes to mind. Don't give up because if you give up, you'll never know what you could have achieved, um, and what the future might look like. And it might continue to be a lot of failure, but I put failure in quotes because failures are learning opportunities. Like
Yes.
everything in life is a learning opportunity. So I'm just grateful I get to continue to learn as I go and make adjustments along the way and
Mm-hmm.
work on myself and work on my business and serve other people while I'm doing it. Like I'm so grateful I have a business that's people focused and it's all like at the end of the day it's about improving the lives of other people.
Yeah. So I'm going to challenge you, Alexis. So, what will be the message then? Imagine that I am you. So, this is your future self now. What message are you going to tell to yourself?
Well, I would start with don't give up.
Yeah.
Don't give up. You're doing a great job. You've come so far and you are successful. You
Mm.
are already successful. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, there you go.
Yes.
Alexis, don't give up. You're already successful. Keep showing up because definitely there are so many people out there waiting and waiting for all of these amazing programs that have yet to be discovered and will be provided from you. And so I'm super sure for many people watching or listening right now, they would love to understand more of other services, online programs that you have, and they would like to connect with you. Probably they would like to have you as a part of the events to bring more awareness in what you do. So, how or where they can connect?
Sure. Well, my website is the best place to start. It's
Mm-hmm.
Bridgetown, spelled how it sounds, Bridgetown. M as in Mary, T as in Tom. The MT
Mm-hmm.
stands for music therapy. So bridgetownmt.com is my website. And then if you want to reach out by email, it's simply alexis at bridgetownmt.com. I'm
Nice.
also on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram.
Awesome. Well, everyone watching or listening right now, as always, we put all the handles or handlers, I don't know, of the people that we have on our show. So you won't miss how to connect with them. And once it's available, you can definitely reach out or connect directly with Alexis. And Alexis, thank you so much for this opportunity. I really learned so much things and really inspired as well to keep moving forward for what we do. And for everyone watching or listening right now, if or when you find this episode super valuable and helpful, go ahead and share it to many people. The more, the merrier. And until next time, with yours truly, Cindy Marie, here to empower your life. Thank you once again, Alexis.
Oh, thank you, Cindy Marie. I really enjoyed this conversation with you.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode today. I hope that conversation with Alexis has inspired you to see how powerful music can be, not just a form of therapy, but also a way to connect with yourself and others on a deeper level. Now, if you enjoyed this episode, please share your thoughts with us and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share it with someone that could benefit this episode. And follow our podcast, leave a review, and help us grow so we can reach and empower more lives together. Until next time, stay optimistic, stay curious, and don't forget to have fun. Believe in yourself, and you've got what it takes to pursue your dreams and make a positive impact. Keep going and be unstoppable.